My son, Thomas, never had a shortage of friends. Always the class clown, always the likable, relatable, funny goof that he was. He passed away 2 months ago. He jumped off an overpass and landed on his neck. He was 17, and I'm writing this for him because he wanted me to. I know a lot of you know about the internet and the dark web and all that. The thing is, I didn't. And maybe if I had, my son would still be alive. Please, stay off the dark web. The game is called Veritatem Dicere, and I'm an American English speaker, but I believe it means something along the lines of to tell the truth in Latin. I only began to notice things after his last few months. Troubles at school, which he had never had. He sat behind a girl in his class and cut a chunk of hair off her head. He was suspended. I would look through the history on his computer to find violent videos, people being murdered and sodomized, video after video, white powder substance all over his room, salt lining his windows. We took him to the dentist because of an infection on one side of his mouth. The dentist examined him and pulled me aside to let me know that my son had pulled out and crushed 3 teeth in his mouth himself. The last straw was when I caught him in the bathroom about 2 months before he died. He was carving some sort of symbol into his arm on a live stream. I figured his odd behavior must be a cry for help, thinking maybe he was depressed or suicidal. He was hospitalized for a week and then released. 2 weeks later, my son died. A month before my son died, every person in my family received an email. Each one read, "Ask Thomas about the little girl who died down the street. Ask him what he knows. Make him tell the truth." The email came from an anonymous sender, and when confronted with it, Thomas began to get very nervous and visibly sick. "Who sent it, Thomas? I want to know. If this is some sick prank to scare your little sister, it's not funny." I leaned against the counter and crossed my arms. The email pulled up on the laptop in front of my son. He kept his head low, avoiding eye contact with me, staring at his fingers in his lap. "I don't know what it is, Mom. Probably some spam email or something," he muttered, almost looking up at me, but quickly averted his gaze. "A spam email that happens to have your name in it and information on the crime committed down the street a few weeks ago? I don't think so." I glanced at the screen for a moment. "So, do you know something you're not telling your father and I about this?" I said, looking back at him again. "No." Tears welled up in his eyes as he stared at the computer screen. "I don't know anything." "What is going on with you, Thomas? This is so unlike you. Please, if you're not okay, please just tell us. We want to help you. We want our Tom back." I put my hand in his, but he quickly pulled away and wiped his eyes quicker. "I don't know anything, Mom. I already told you I'm fine." He got up abruptly and started towards the doorway. Now, I could feel the tears begin to form in my eyes as I saw him walk away. My son was almost unrecognizable. He was skin and bones, purple bags under his eyes like he hadn't slept in days. His clothes hung and bagged on him as I saw him walk to the door. "I love you," I squeaked out. He stopped for a moment and looked back at me, and I swear to God, I'd never seen more pain in someone's eyes than I saw in his in that moment. He let a tear fall as he turned away again, his back to me now. "I love you, Mama," he croaked out before exiting the room quickly. He began to look worse as time went on. Thin, frail, tired, fatigued. My husband and I found therapists, took him to doctors, pulled him out of school, and did everything we thought was right leading up to my son's suicide. About a week after his death, I felt like half of me was missing. I couldn't move or talk or get out of bed, and I didn't. All I could do was think about Thomas, and the guilt ate me alive. I knew my email had to be overflowing with emails from clients at work, and I knew I'd have to get back to work soon. For me, for my husband, for my daughter. 2 weeks later, I finally checked it. At the very top of my inbox was an email with an anonymous sender and no subject. I began to tear up, wishing whoever it was would just leave me alone and let me grieve. But curiosity got the better of me, and I opened it. I wish I hadn't. The email was nothing but 9 black words that read, "He did it, and the game is not over." "911, what's your emergency?"
Hello? Yes, I'm in a plane and... It's...
"Hello, ma'am. What was that? Did you say you're on a plane?"
Yes, I'm on a plane. I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
"All right, calm down, ma'am. What's wrong?"
I was on a flight.
"A flight?
Yes, a flight. I was going from Texas to...
To where?"
And it was going fine. Took off. Plane was full. And the pilot was speaking, giving us the rundown. You know, you've been on a plane before, right?
"Yes, I have. What's the issue, ma'am?"
Well, it was nighttime, and the flight had a few hours, so I figured I'd go to sleep and then...
"It's okay, ma'am. What happened when you tried to go to sleep, ma'am?"
I went to sleep, but when I woke up, the plane...
"Ma'am, it's okay. What happened when you woke up?"
The plane was completely empty.
"Empty?"
Yes, the plane is completely empty, and my son... My God... My son is gone, and I don't know where he is.
"It's okay, ma'am. I'm sure your son is fine. The plane is completely empty, and you're still in the air."
Yes, and as far as I'm aware, the plane hasn't landed at all. I woke up and it's empty.
"Okay. Well, then who's flying the plane?"
That's the other thing. The plane... It isn't moving.
"Not moving?"
It's completely stationary in the air. The plane isn't moving, but it's in the air. Oh God, what's happening to me? Am I gonna die?
"Ma'am, everything will be fine. I just need you to listen to my voice and do as I say. Is that okay?"
Yes, I think I can do that.
"Okay, ma'am. I'm gonna need you to get up. Can you do that?"
Okay, I'm standing in the aisle now.
"Good. Now make your way to the front of the plane, and I want you to locate the pilot at the controls. Can you do that?"
Yes, okay, I'm right next to there. I'm making my way there. What's your name?
"My name? Tyler."
Okay, Tyler, my name's Enid. I'm at the door. The controls where the pilot should be. The door is locked shut.
"Okay. Can you knock on it, Enid?"
Hello? Mr. Pilot, are you there?
"Enid?"
I'm alright, did you hear that? There was a noise behind the door. Let me see if I can... It opened.
"Enid, are you okay?" "Enid!"
Oh, God. I'm hiding behind a row of chairs. I think there's something in there with me.
"Something in there with you?"
God, I'm gonna die here. I'm gonna die.
"You're gonna be fine, Enid. Speak to me."
Oh God, it's here!
I'm just simply here to share an experience I had back in 2016 when I went on the deep web. I remember it like it was just yesterday. I was on a scary stories binge and listening to a bunch of different narrators retelling people's experiences from the deep web. I reached a point where I couldn't contain my curiosity, so I decided to learn how to reach the deep web myself. I'll save you all the filler so I don't make this submission too long, but I got on and immediately got to researching a few links I found. First, it was a website about buying different products. It listed a bunch of prices as well as the sorts of services they offered. I soon grew bored and went to a video sharing website. The videos themselves were really low quality. In comparison, they were 144p, similar to what you can find here on YouTube. The videos that piqued my interest were the ones that were titled Join Us Part 1 and Part 2. They consisted of a series of what I like to best describe as promos that seek to recruit people for some strange cult I'd never heard of. I actually tried looking them up on the regular surface web, but I couldn't find any articles. Anyways, at the end of each video was an email that let you contact them. Yes, dumb me actually decided to give them a message and ask if this was truly real, or just some sort of elaborate video series made by a bunch of bored college students. To my surprise, I got an automated email almost instantly, and it advised me I would soon be connected with a recruiter. I waited, and about 15 minutes later I got a response. They told me about the process of joining, including the information I would need to reply back with in order to be part of their so-called society. Now let's face it, I wasn't really going to give them my personal information. So to mess with them, I made up some random info and sent that in, telling them to have a nice day. I never did receive a response back. Fast forward a few nights later, and I was having trouble sleeping. I blamed it on the date I had a few hours ago that saw me drinking some pretty strong espresso alongside my girlfriend. Well, I want to say it was around 2 or 3 in the morning my cell phone started to ring. Silly me had forgot to put it on silent. Not thinking of checking the caller ID, I answer it in my typical grumpy voice, only to be met with heavy breathing.
Hello? Who is this? If you're not going to say anything, then don't call me again.
They then hung up. Whatever, it must have been a wrong number. 5 minutes later, I'm awoken from my struggling slumber to another phone call. Now I'm starting to get angry. I respond with some not-so-kind words, only to be met with music playing. And I'm not talking about the greatest hits. This music was played backwards and it sounded really creepy, almost like some sort of strange nursery rhyme. 10 seconds of this playing, I once again say hello, only to be met with a voice. It sounded as if it was coming from one of those voice filters.
That wasn't really nice of you sending me that false information. We were genuinely hoping you would take our offer and join our group. Would you still like to join?
I freaked out. I instantly hung up and blocked the number, checking my doors and windows, making sure they were locked. Not sure why I did that. It's not like the person who called showed up to my house, but I guess it was just instinct. Safe to say I got no sleep, and instead I went over to my girlfriend's house, where I had to explain over the next 10 minutes why I suddenly showed up to her place and freaked out. She was just as scared as me, but we tried to write it off as some weird coincidence. Fast forward to when I later returned to my house. I saw there was a missed call on my apartment house phone. Yes, I was still one of those who had a landline. It's because it came packaged with my phone and cable. Already forgetting the creepy call from earlier in the morning, I play the message, expecting to hear some sort of telemarketer. Instead, it was the deep voice from earlier, asking me why I was playing so hard to get. I lost it. I went to the police, and I had them ask my phone provider if they could do some sort of reverse phone search. Unfortunately, they were unable to trace the call. Now here's the strange part. Almost as soon as this began, it stopped. I no longer received any further communication from this group, nor did I ever get an email back. I still have the email in case anyone is interested in seeing it. I can even send anybody a screenshot if you want proof. Edit. I have no clue how they got my number, although I have some theories. I hadn't realized it until recently, but when you send emails using your email, it can display your name. For some reason, I thought it only displayed your email address. I guess that's how they looked me up. I mean, it's not a far stretch, considering how easy it is for people to find out more about you.
"911, what's your emergency?"
I'm in a dilemma.
What kind of dilemma? An intruder has entered my house.
May I know from where you are calling?
Sweden Street, near Old GE Road.
We have sent the team to your location. Have you seen the intruder around?
Yes, I saw a shadow while taking a shower.
Are you sure it was not your imagination?
Yes, I am totally sure about it because the shadow moved.
Wait, what? Did you just say the shadow moved? Where?
Yes, the shadow was at the corner of the curtain while I was taking the shower. After I saw it, I was panicked and yelled to see if it was there.
What happened next?
When I heard no sound, I moved the curtain.
All right.
I needed to investigate if the door was open.
Was the door open?
Yes, the door was wide open.
Where are you now?
I'm locked in the bathroom.
Did the trespasser lock you in there?
No, I sealed myself inside.
Why did you do that?
I found the door open, so I closed it and sealed myself inside.
So, from where did you get the cell phone?
I have a habit of listening to music, so the cell phone was on the cabinet.
Oh, okay. Where's the intruder now?
I don't know. He must be roaming somewhere in the house.
Okay, don't move. The intruder may hurt you.
Okay, but please send the team as soon as possible.
They will be there soon. Don't worry, you'll be safe.
Yes, hopefully.
Are you okay?
Yes, I'm okay. But I have a security alarm at the entrance. How could anyone enter without knowing the passcode?
It's clear that the intruder is someone you know. Do you have any enemies?
I'm a chef. I don't have any enemies.
Okay.
But we had a party last night.
What kind of party was it?
It was my 25th birthday. I invited all my friends.
Were all your friends from your workplace?
No, some of them were from college.
Okay, was there any friend who had any kind of jealousy issue with you? Or was there anyone who may have had a grudge against you?
I don't think so. I'm scared now. I'm going to be okay, right, ma'am?
Yes, the police will be there soon. You're going to be okay, ma'am.
I don't think so.
What's wrong?
The police arrived to find that the man had killed the caller and was sitting on the floor. The man was Daniel, the caller's ex-boyfriend. Daniel and Nancy were best friends since college. They got engaged. They had a great relationship, but Nancy finally ended up being cheated on by Daniel. Daniel, being a proud, overconfident man, was unable to handle Nancy's rejection when she found out. He apologized to Nancy and asked for a second chance, but Nancy rejected him and denied his request. Daniel's friends made fun of him for being rejected by a woman. Daniel decided to get revenge on Nancy, and so he crashed her birthday party and hid himself somewhere in the house. He snatched Nancy by her neck and drowned her in the bathtub. Disturbingly, before Nancy called 911, the man had hidden himself in the bathroom cabinet.